Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be making some coconut fried rice, and I just want to thank you guys so much for subscribing and following up on my videos. It means the whole world. Okay, so first in your pot you're going to add some vegetable oil. You're going to add in some coconut oil, so you're going to be using both vegetable oil and coconut oil. And then I usually top my oil with some salt, just a bit of salt, and then I add in some onions. Now when I'm making fried rice, I like to use the white onions as opposed to the purple onions, because I usually think it doesn't change the taste, but I feel like it's more aesthetically pleasing to not be seeing the purple color of onions when your rice is ready. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So personally, my preference is to use the white onions. I chop it up and then I use the white onions. Then I add in some Scotch bonnet. As a Nigerian that I am, I don't know what country anyone is watching this video from, but as Nigerians, we use a lot of Scotch bonnet. So I add in some roughly blended Scotch bonnet peppers, and then I'm going to add in my washed basmati rice to this. Now I'm going to make sure, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to fry my rice. This would help that's the texture of my rice to come out in single grains. Okay, now notwithstanding, you could also get single grains without toasting your rice. I make some recipes that I do not toast my rice, but for this I usually like toast my rice, and then also it would help the rice to absorb the coconut flavor as well. I added coconut oil already in the beginning, so it's going to help the rice absorb the coconut flavor from the oil. And then I added in a bit of curry powder, and then now I added in a bit of seasoning cubes. So the seasoning cubes I'm using is the Maggi Ninja pot. You could use any one you prefer, but for this recipe I'm using the Maggi Ninja pot. And then going to mix it all together, let it fry for a bit until you can see that the rice looks a bit toasted. And then I'm going to go in with my coconut milk. Now the coconut milk I'm using for this recipe is the tin coconut milk. That's the coconut milk that is in a can. That's the one I'll be using. So I give this a good mix, let the rice also absorb the flavor from the coconut milk just a bit. I just basically let it fry for about a minute or 30 seconds, and then I add in my water. So I add in the water that I am going to use to cook my rice, but I don't add in enough water. You would see why in a bit, because midway through this rice, is when the rice is cooking, once this first water dries, I'm going to top it up with some extra coconut milk. Now this would increase the coconut flavor from 10 to 100. Okay, so once my rice is done cooking halfway, this is not fully cooked, it's like 80% cooked. So at this point I add in my second can of coconut milk. So I add in the second can of coconut milk, I put this in the rice, and then I cover. At this point is when I'm going to be using my foil paper to trap the heat and then cover the lid and reduce the heat so that the rice cooks on low flame and the steam is able to cook the rice. That's one thing with basmati rice, it doesn't need a lot of water. So that rice that you saw me toasting, it wasn't parboiled. I just washed it and used it, and you saw the amount of water I added. If you're cooking regular long grain rice, you would need way more water content, but for this you don't need too much. So as at this point my rice is fully and it is perfectly cooked. I'm just going to fluff the grains around just so that you'll be able to see what exactly I am talking about. I don't know if you can see it. So when I'm making coconut fried rice, I personally do not like I don't like the color to be too yellow. I hear some people say, oh, I want my fried rice to be green. I have no idea why you would want your fried rice to be green, but I assume it's your preference. But personally, when I'm making coconut fried rice, to be precise, I do not like the color to be too much. I think that just a light yellow color is fine. That's how I like it. So if you want more color, you could add in more curry powder or turmeric. It depends on what you'll be using, but I use curry powder. Now I add in some coconut oil to my pan. I want to be frying the veggies now, so I add in some coconut oil to my pan. This is not vegetable oil, this is coconut oil. I add some coconut oil to my pan. I add in my chopped onions, I add in my carrots, my green bell peppers, yellow bell peppers, red bell peppers. Now the way I cut my veggies and my orange bell peppers. So now the way I cut my veggies for my fried rice, whether it's normal fried rice, whether it's coconut fried rice, I like to cut it in this tiny form because it makes the rice look more aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. I don't know about you, but personally I eat with my eyes first before I eat with my mouth. So my food has to look good, okay, for me to even want to try it. So I usually cut it tiny, and it makes the rice just look better. Now for this recipe, I'm using some liver that I have cooked, I have fried, and I cut into smaller pieces. You could use gizzard, you could use beef, you could use whatever you want. You could use shrimps if you want. I wasn't using shrimps for this recipe. I just wanted some liver in my fried rice. Okay, so I give this a good mix, and then I'm going to add in some red kidney beans, as the ones that is in can. I rinse out the liquid it usually comes with, and then I add it into this at towards the end when I know I'm going to turn off my heat soon. And then I'm going to I added in some seasoning cubes as well, just to season this veggies. Now when you're making coconut fried rice, you want the flavors to be, this is seasoning cube I just added, so you want the flavors to be as minimal as possible. You don't want to overdo it. Like, you don't want to say, oh, I need garlic, I need white pepper, I need black pepper. You want, for me personally, I want to taste the coconut. I don't want any obstruction. I don't want to taste anything that is hindering me from feeling this coconut flavor, because if I didn't want to taste the coconut, why would I cook coconut fried rice? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So personally, I would just keep it simple. My seasoning is just my seasoning cubes, the coconut oil, and if I have some coconut flavor, I use that as well. But I didn't have coconut flavor at home by this time, so I just used what you're seeing here. Okay, so I add my veggies to my rice that has been perfectly cooked. Okay, and then I give it a good mix, really good mix, and then I turn on the heat and move it to low just a bit, and then I keep mixing it around. And then you won't see this here, but I tasted it, and then needed just a tad bit of seasoning cubes. I added that, just a bit. If your rice is already perfectly cooked and is perfectly seasoned, and your veggies are perfectly seasoned, you won't need to add any extra seasoning cube. But I under seasoned my rice, and I under season my veggies, because I like having the balance in the pots when I'm mixing it together. So I usually I added in a bit of seasoning cubes here. I didn't show that. I could have as well just lied to you that my rice was perfectly seasoned, but I'm letting you know, taste your food. If you need to add more, you add more, you give it a good mix. And then I don't know if I showed this, but I covered it and let it steam for about a minute. I covered it with a lid and let it steam for about a minute, uncovered it back, and then I gave it a good stir, and my coconut fried rice was ready. Okay, so I plated it to my plate, and I had this with some coleslaw and some chicken, pepper chicken. And trust me, it tastes so good. If you make this recipe for your family members, they would literally not leave you alone. Like, that's literally all you'll be making. So why not try it maybe next Sunday, or whenever you guys have like a big family dinner. Instead of having the regular jollof rice or the regular fried rice, try having some coconut fried rice, and trust me, you would never go back. Okay, thank you guys so much. If you love this video, please like, please subscribe, please share my video and get people to watch it too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you have any questions, just comment it down below, and I promise to attend to you. Okay, bye bye.